Welcome to Monday Morning Dharma. Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. As you settle in for meditation this morning, please feel free to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. Ancient mountain, wisdom mountain. And I'd like you now to please feel free to experiment with silently reciting a mantra, and in fact, mounting that mantra upon the breath. With each inhalation, I'd like you to silently recite the word rest. At the top of the inhalation, recite the word relax. And on the exhalation, silently recite the word allow. Rest, relax, allow. Now, please feel free to gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Become the silent observer of sensations that may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more awakened state of awareness to emerge. A perfectly valid method of practicing this meditation is for you to observe sensations in so-called isolated parts of your body, your hands, your feet, the region of your chest, and so forth. Perhaps an even more valid method of practicing this meditation is for you to observe one universal sensation that extends from the crown of your head to the tips of your fingers, to the soles of your feet, and all space in between. Please don't try to influence the arising of sensations. Don't try to control. Your job is to simply observe however the sensations manifest. Just silently observe and allow a more awakened state of awareness to emerge. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths. Become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. And we dedicate all of the positive energy from this morning's meditation and Dharma talk to world peace. May the human beings of this world soon come to develop respect and reverence for our natural world. May we all soon come to live in harmony with the natural world. And may we also develop respect and reverence for all of the beings who make their home in the natural world. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. Excuse me, you guys. I've kind of got a little something in my throat. So, welcome back. In our last class, which I guess was a week ago today, since we didn't have class on Friday, we talked about, we kind of finished, air quotes around the word finished, the story of the life of Buddha. And he attained awakening underneath the Bodhi tree and completely purified his mind, permanently purified his mind. And for some time afterwards, just rested in that state of perfect freedom, perfect bliss, and perfect freedom. He was asked by some to share with the world what he had accomplished, what insights he had had from his awakening. And initially he said, it can't be communicated. It can't be communicated. It's too much. It's too subtle. It's too blissful. Words are inadequate and impossible as a means of communicating it and teaching it. Some people, thank goodness, some beings, I guess I should say, implored him. They said, please, please share. The people of the world need some sort of instruction, need some sort of guidance to try to move toward the place that you accomplished. And so the Buddha, prior to enlightenment, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, after awakening, Buddha, the awakened one, gave teachings. He did try to convey what he had experienced and accomplished by attaining a complete and perfect enlightenment. The first teaching he gave was on the Four Noble Truths. And we're going to talk about the first noble truth this morning. And maybe, maybe probably on Friday, we'll talk a little bit more about the first noble truth. But before I do, I just want to say that it is said that the Buddha gave 84,000 different teachings. And over, my teachers have impressed upon me the benefit of taking these teachings as personal advice. Like, personalize these teachings how can I apply these teachings to my life? How can I use this information, these insights to improve my life situation and perhaps become a better person, whatever that means to each of us? Yeah. This isn't sort of like about academic knowledge, no certificate of completion is going to be issued after we go through the Four Noble Truths and the 21 Lamrim meditations. The appeal to us is to consider deeply what we hear, what we learn. I'm just a speaker, I'm just a mouthpiece for Shakyamuni Buddha. And yeah, personal advice, try to personalize it. And just before we get into the first noble truth, I just also want to say it's amazing. Just our good fortune is absolutely amazing. 2,600 years ago, give or take, yeah, the Buddha gave teachings on the Four Noble Truths and many other aspects of training the mind, compassion, loving kindness, and so forth. And here we are, 2026, January of 2026 in the Western world, and have this amazing opportunity to receive these instructions, these teachings, which are a means of attaining ourselves, attaining liberation from suffering. I mean, skip the standard Dharma vernacular, solving our problems, right? Getting along with other people better, dealing with anxiety arising from unknown sources, right? Being able to sleep better at night, what great, amazing good fortune that 2,600 years ago, here's a how-to manual, orally imparted how-to manual to solve our problems. Yeah, just remarkable, miraculous. So here are the Four Noble Truths. You can write them down if you want. I'll send out an email later today with the Four Noble Truths, and I would encourage you to commit them to memory or try to commit them to memory, because when I first entered the Dharma path, I was resistant to the notion of memorization. I was told, I'd learned through my kind of traditional education, it's important to have an understanding of subjects that you learn about. Rote memorization isn't what it's all about. And that's not untrue, I think. And I have found that memorizing for me has led to an understanding, an experience of these teachings. So the Four Noble Truths are short, therefore easier, I think, for some of us to memorize. And my appeal to you would be to commit imprinting these four truths on your mental continuum. There's benefit to be had from doing that. So, first noble truth, you should know suffering. The second noble truth is you should abandon origins, as in you should abandon the origins of suffering. Third noble truth, you should attain cessations. You should attain cessation from suffering. And fourth is you should practice the path. So, if you're at all like me, when I first heard those Four Noble Truths, there was some mental pushback on my part. We Westerners don't like to be told that we should do something. Some of my friends are fond of saying, don't should all over yourself, So, kind of how I reconciled this a long time ago. Kind of one of the ways that I got to that, to being told what I should do, is like in front of each of the Noble Truths, and each of the Four Noble Truths, insert the phrase, if you want to be free from suffering, you should um, you should know suffering. If you want to be free from suffering, you should abandon origins. If you want to be, you should attain cessations. You should practice the path. If you want to be free from suffering, you should do these things. If you don't want to be free from suffering, then you're free not to. So it's kind of, if there's any mental pushback from your side from hearing the word should, you might preface, kind of use as a prologue, that if you want to be free from suffering, you should know suffering. There are different contexts to this advice, and we'll talk about some of those contexts. But where I'd like to start right now is for you to start by knowing sufferings that you experience in your own life. I mean, the sutras provide all sorts of structure for ideas about knowing suffering, essentially. And we've talked about some of them. The sufferings of aging, sickness, death, the sufferings of even before death, having to encounter what we don't like, having to be parted from what we do like, failing to satisfy our desires. Lots of pointers for different types of suffering that we might want to get to know as we practice the first noble truth. Here again, personalize it. Look at your own life and see where the problems are arising and what kind of the bases of those sufferings are. Yeah. And I'm going to do some sharing here, sharing my own personal experience, because it's the only experience I have, and there might be some oversharing here. So that'll be your suffering, having to hear about my sufferings, right? The suffering of hair loss, right? Yep. Um, yeah, that's which of course is a form of suffering of aging. You know, I lost my hair at a very young age by, conventional standards, and it was really painful when it happened. Now it's been a long time and I'm in my 60s, so it's not that unusual, but you know, but the hair thing goes on. The hair thing goes on. I've lost hair in the place that I want to keep it. I wanted to keep it. I'm growing hair in places where I don't want it to be. And whatever hair that I do have on my body is all turning gray or has turned gray. The sufferings of hair. That's not that's not put that way in the sutras, by the way. There's no that I'm aware of, no the sutra of the suffering of hair, growing hair in places I don't want it, losing it in the place that I wanted to keep it. Yeah, another thing that the suffering of aging, I'm 64 years old. I turned 65 in April. And there are people like when I turned 50, people say, was that like a milestone? Was that like a monumental transition for you turning 50? Not really so much, because I was in denial that I was 50 basically. So I guess I suppressed my suffering. I guess that's what it was. 60, still not so much, still not so much. But an aspect of the suffering of aging that is upon me is that in April of this year, I am going to start receiving Medicare. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's here, it's happened. I'm old. Yeah, I'm going to be on Medicare. Mental pain associated with going on Medicare. And then like more sufferings of aging and sickness is, I'm starting to learn as I get ready to go on Medicare and insurance things and management and withholdings and all this stuff. Like managing these systems that are supposed to help me with my health, which are being exacerbated by aging, is like a new part-time job. It's like the paperwork that is arriving in the mail and the emails that I'm receiving in the authorization for direct deposits that I have to authorize so I can pay, it is like amazing, amazing. Not to admit, anyways, we're out of, mercifully for you, we're out of time. Mercifully for you, we're out of time. But anyways, my point of this, I think you get the point of this, is like, look at your lives. And I am being serious now. Please look at your life. See where forms of suffering are appearing and get to know that suffering. Why? Because once we're aware of it, once we've identified, like, know thy enemy, mental pain, will be compelled to do something about it. That's a fundamental message of the First Noble Truth, is that if we know our suffering really well, then we will be compelled to do something about it. And doing something about it is not Jeff getting a hair transplant or, coloring this, the different part that are turning white. No, it's about changing my mind, controlling my mind so that I don't experience the mental pain of all of these types of aging and sickness related sufferings. Okay. That's the point of this. Personalize it. Okay. And maybe have some fun with it if possible. Extra credit points if you can have fun with it. Okay. All right. Have a blessed day. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Have a great day, you guys.
You too.